everybody, this is Art Torres again with another episode of Daggett to Daggett. Today we're exploring the Daggett Pioneer Cemetery. There's a lot of history and maybe a few ghosts, you never know. Graveyard was basically established in the 1870s on up. It wasn't established, it was people just started getting buried here. And there's a lot of no history on some of these crosses and so forth. We later on a board got together with the help of the county and put this as a landmark as far as an active grave site. A lot of the pioneers are buried here. A lot of the people that were born and raised are buried here, and a lot of people that moved here are buried here. There's no grass, there's no sprinklers, there's no pretense. This is the desert. We came into the desert, and we're leaving, riding on the desert's trail of dust. In late 60s, early 70s, me and another guy named Art were contracted to dig a grave for a local pioneer that had passed away, and we got paid a good deal. We were contracted to dig the hole. The first 2 feet, beautiful dirt, softer than heck. The rest of it's all rock, and you got to work for it pretty hard to get it out. Anyway, we in this story, we dug the hole, we squared it, we made sure it had to be certain dimensions for the burial equipment to actually work right to lower the coffin and so on. Well, we got paid a case of Coors beer, pack of Marlboros, and 2 cheeseburgers to dig this hole. And we earned every bit of it. It was rough. But the best part of it was when we were just about complete, had our dimensions done, I was in the hole and just kind of squaring everything up. And as my long shovel, we didn't have a backhoe, it was all shovel work. The long shovel hit the side wall of the grave, and when it did that, the wall caved in. A long piece of wood, 3 pieces of wood came out with it, and a whole bunch of bones. And it scared the heck out of me. Art, the other Art, he was watching me from on top. It startled and scared him. But what amazed him was I jumped out of that hole flat-footed. I didn't get a hold of nothing. I was on the top of the ground in a fraction of a second. We got that done. Oh my God, there's a body there. You know, it'd been there forever because they were all bones. And it was a female, and she had a blue velvet or velour dress on, and she was all bones. The coffin had caved in. It was made out of wood, you know, nothing extraordinary or bells and whistles. And so we went to the guy that was running the place, Larry Alf, one of the local fathers here. Went to him, told him what's going on. He came back up here. We checked it out. And he says, well, I said, you want me to just move the grave over? He said, no, that's going to be soft ground. It's going to be dangerous, blah, blah. He said, let's try something to go ahead and use this grave. And what we did is we gathered up she had jewelry on her fingers. And we gathered up everything, the rings, you know, all that stuff, and we put it on a string. And we put it on top of her right here, on top of the dress that she was wearing. We got the pieces of wood. We put some 2x2 pieces of wood inside, and Larry had got some concrete type mesh and nailed that mesh to that pieces of wood that were coming sideways to us. Then we got the dirt from here and water, made mud, and we just did the side like we were doing a concrete wall or something like that. We got all that done. We extra strengthened the walk pattern, wait for the pallbearers to bring the coffin and so forth. We got it done. Long story short, the ladies rest in peace again. And every once in a while I think about her. Years later, Larry Alf found some more papers from his dad, Mr. Seymour Alf, and the lady's last name was Harvard. And she was married to somebody that lived here in the 1890s. That's all I know. In our first episode, we talked about the Stone Hotel there in the middle part of Daggett, and the saloon right next to it was called the Bucket of Blood Saloon. This person right here was the one of the owners, the first owner of the Bucket of Blood Saloon. And there's a story. He had I don't know what kind of monkey it was, but it was a small little monkey that wore homemade bib type overalls. And the monkey was just tall or something like that. I've only seen one picture of him. And he would have the monkey on top of the bar, tied up to the end of the bar. And whenever you get your drink, your beer, then you give your money, and then you get your change. Well, before you can grab the change and put it in your pocket, he grabbed it, and he put it in a pouch that was sewed onto his overalls. He put it right here. And he did it all the time, and everybody thought it was cute. Well, one night, this Swede gentleman from the digs up at Calico came down from being there for 3 weeks, digging for silver or gold, whatever. He came down, and he was in a bad mood. He got his beer, and the guy, Mr. Falconer, gave him his change. Well, when the change hit the deck, the monkey came over. The Swede man reaches over, picks up the monkey by his feet, hangs him upside down, and says, "Pull up to the bar, boys. Monkey's paying tonight." That's based on a story that happened. Welcome to Daggett. The penny is a symbol of, I came to visit you. This gentleman here, I believe, is the most coveted person buried here. He was Lieutenant Ross Fobair, missing in action, Vietnam. In his mid-60s, he went to Vietnam as, I believe, a pilot. Anyway, he was missing in action until, about 10 or 12 years ago. They found his remains, and they brought him back. So he's resting here. We just had Memorial Day. Memorial Day is for those that died in action in some foreign country. This is the one I know for sure. Died in Vietnam, but was later on repatriated and buried here. He's very important. His memory is a very important person in our lives out here for people that care. We come to a close of another edition of Daggett to Daggett. Thank you very much for coming over here and listening to me talk about all this stuff, and I hope it was insightful and you learned something new. If people that are here, all the knowledge they took with them, that's why I'm doing this, so we could pass on memories and that knowledge. With that being said, this closes this episode of Daggett to Daggett, and I hope to see you next time. Please comment if you have something to say, good or bad, and I'll see you on the next segment. Good day.